Okay, hi everybody. Today is going to be a Q&A day, and I've just got my stopwatch on there because this camera records for 20 minutes at a time. So we're going to do two videos, I think. I'm going to do the YouTube questions and then I'm going to move on to the Instagram questions. Just so this isn't too long-winded, so we'll try and cram all of these in because some of the questions are quite long, or there's more questions from one person than another. So, okay, we're going to get straight into it then. So, YouTube Q&A, 22 Monon Oak. I've wanted to know if you think a larger water discount gives a better bar soap, as in nicer feel and usage. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily say better. I think that it's good to do a water discount to eliminate soda ash, and also it does create a harder bar, but it doesn't make it any better. It's just your recipe is your recipe, so whatever you use, that's your recipe. So if you do a water discount, it won't make any difference to the recipe or the bar of soap. It just helps it to cure slightly faster, in my experience, by maybe, I probably get, can cut a week off the cure time is what I do. But I don't think it really makes a better bar, it just makes it harder and it eliminates soda ash, which is why really I use a water discount to do that, because I don't like soda ash. Okay, so thank you for your question. Number 2 is from Jodie Rowe, and she asks, after you pour your soap and it's ready to be left to saponify, how do you put it to bed, so to speak? Do you cover your moulds with anything? No, I don't. I just leave it to rest, because I do lots of peak tops. So like if I do a peak topping, I want my peaks to stand. So if I cover it with anything, sometimes it can ruin my peaks or deflate them in some way, because then it's going to gel. So I would call myself a non-geller, but if a soap gels, it gels. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I just leave them on my countertop to do their own thing and let nature take its course. Okay, number 3 is from Paula Course, and she asks a few questions, so I'll just go through them one by one. How did you make the move from soaping in your kitchen to having your own workshop? Did you start off with the home parties, craft fairs, and then decide to go big when you went to internet orders? I did mine the opposite way around. I started on the internet, and I did do craft fairs, but I hated them. I still hate craft fairs. The ones that I've experienced have been very twee, very knitted dolly brigade, and here in the UK, when it says craft fair somewhere, that's generally what you get, unless you're in like a really cool and, you know, sort of good part of a city or town where there's a vibe and something good happening, like that will attract the right customers. Then for me, I just found it pointless. You could sit all day and not make a penny, or I'd have a few where it was great, but it would just be luck that I had a good craft fair. So I would never do them again. I really hated doing it. There's a lot of hard work for little payoff. So I basically started on the internet. And then she goes on about the buying bulk ingredients. So she asks, I know it's more economical to buy stock in bulk in the long run, but it just seems a lot of spending when not much has started to come in yet. With the trial and error and experimenting, I'm getting through so many ingredients. Did you have big startup costs and feel like you were forever spending? I didn't have big startup costs. I just constantly spent money, and I still constantly spend money like everybody else. Some people are very business minded, and you know, it seems like they've got everything sorted, but I'm not one of them. I still buy essential oils I don't need because I just want them. I still buy butters and such that I don't need, I just want them. And fragrance oils, they're my downfall. Like, I could just buy and buy and buy. And aroma chemicals for making perfumes, it's like when I started out, I bought all the colours, the glitters, the butters, everything. I kept thinking, well, this recipe says I need this, or this recipe says I need that. So I'd go and buy all the ingredients, and I do have to rein myself in now But I'm still addicted to ingredients, so I'm like the rest of you, so I can't really give you much advice on that score because I'm exactly the same. Can't help myself, I still buy lots and lots of things. We're at 5 minutes. You'll see me glance just to check the time. Okay, number 4, Catherine Petriosan. What temperature are your lye and oils? Do you ever experience ash? My temperature of my lye and my oils is room temperature, and yes, I experience ash unless I do the water discount and then it eliminates it. So room temperature. Cindy Bobber asks, what is your earliest memory of bar soap? I only use bar soap and it goes back to when I was 5 years old lining up in school to wash our hands before cookies and milk snacks. Cookies and milk. Okay, my earliest memory of soap is being in my grandma's kitchen and being washed or like bathed in the sink, and she used to have these little oval like plastic containers which were called soap savers, I think, and you used to put all your soap scraps in them, and then you could like press a new bar of soap, so they would waste nothing. You know, that's how all of our grandparents were. You waste nothing, so all the little scraps of soap would go to make a new soap. And I also remember public toilets. The soap in public toilets was like little tiny squares, maybe wrapped in like a glassine paper, and they would do white ones, blue ones and pink ones, and they always smelt the same, like just like nothing, just like soap. And also imperial leather soap with the sticker in the middle, which never came off when you continued to wash. Like you could get to the end of the bar of soap and there'd still be the sticker stuck on the top. We used to use that in my family. It was very drying on the skin. Also Avon Pretty Peach soap, and like soaps on ropes and animal soaps from Avon. I used to love those, and the smell of them, I used to love that. So yeah, that's my first memory of soap. Number 6 is from Chronic Butterfly. Where in the UK are you located? Excuse me. I'm in Evesham in Worcestershire, which is in the West Midlands. So you see our map, I'm smack bang in the middle and slightly to the west. So yeah, West Midlands. Number 7 is from Cape 6. Approximately how many grams, ounces of fragrance essential oils do you use in a soap batch? I use 1.9%, which is what my assessment allows me to use. With essential oils, some of that can be a little bit different because they've got different usage rates. Some you can use 1.9% and some you can use like 0.25%. It just depends on the oil. So some of them are very low usage and some of them are just, you know, they're okay. So my assessment is a basic rule of thumb is 1.9%, but I have to just refer to my list and see. And number 8, Aisha Johns. What is the trick to getting that beautiful smooth white soap and not one with an antique crack paint look? Okay, she means if you use a lot of titanium dioxide to make soap. I think that the water discount makes a big difference for that, and depending on what oils you're using as well, I think it all makes a difference, but Auntie Clara explains this very much in depth on her blog post. So if you search Auntie Clara and I think it's glycerin rivers is the term you'll want to search for, or just go back through her blog and you'll find the post, and she's done lots and lots of tests with lower water, higher water, just to see what it does. And I think the lower the water, so the bigger the water discount, I think it helps to eliminate the glycerin rivers. And have you tried, Asha, I don't know how you pronounce it, sorry. Have you tried allergen-free scents from Sensory Perfection? If so, your opinion please, and or any other allergen-free scents out there for soapers that you know of. I don't specifically buy allergen-free fragrances, it just happens if I want that scent, or want a certain scent that just happens to be allergen-free, I'll buy it because it will be something I want for a blend or something. So some of them I've written down here, they do one called Bamboo, almond milk, which I can't smell at all. I've got almond milk in stock, but I can't smell theirs at all. Driftwood, marshmallow, soft leather, toffee, wood smoke. They're all ones that I've tried. There's probably more, but I can't think off the top of my head because I don't, you know, like I say, go to buy allergen-free fragrances. It's just if they are, they are. Okay, number 9 is from Sam. Where do you get your lye from? I'm in the UK. I buy my lye from the Soap Kitchen online because they are one of the only ones that have a courier that will ship lye. A lot of companies won't ship it because of the dangers, I guess. So the Soap Kitchen, I buy mine from there, and it's probably the cheapest as well. Number 10 is from Paul, of course. How many safety assessments have you had to get with all the lovely different fragrances and essential oils you use in your cold processed soaps? Have just submitted mine but didn't realise you were restricted to one recipe and only 6 variations for each assessment. Okay, Paula, my first assessments were pre the changes, so I had my first ones around 2006. So when the changes came into play in 2015, my assessments just had to be updated, but because I was already allowed to be more flexible with what I used, they couldn't all of a sudden make us stop using what we'd used, because a lot of us had created ranges where, you know, we'd been using all these ingredients. They couldn't just make us stop. So I've got what is referred to as flexi assessments. So I write all my essential oil list out, my fragrance oil list, well, not a fragrance oil list, but I can use any fragrance oil that is EU certified. All the essential oils that I've put on my own list, all the herbs, all the spices, all of the clays, the colorants, the micas, you know, everything. So all of them are on a list that I send through to Scott Granger, who's my assessor, and he just compiles my assessments based on the information I give him. So it's a bit different for us who are a bit longer in the tooth. It's not fair. I don't think it's fair the way that the assessments have been changed, but you might find some people maybe will still do like a flexi assessment, but I don't know who would, like for new soapers, I don't know if it's available, but you might find if you try and find people that will do it for you, you know, have a go and see, just email people and ask them the question. But yeah, that's why, because we were all making things before the changes happened, and I think it was the EU law change, so lots and lots of things had to be updated. But you know, as I said, I'm an old time soap maker, so luckily I can still make how I always have. Number 11 is, and the last one on the YouTube questions, is from Jennifer M, and she asks, how long were you soaping before you turned it into a business? I reckon it's about 3 or 4 years. I think I was just messing around in the kitchen for a while, and I didn't really take it too seriously until I realised actually there's a market here. So it's about 3 or 4 years before I turned like the hobby into a business. That's about it. So that's YouTube questions. I'm going to move on next to Instagram, but I'm going to do it on a separate video. We're at 13 minutes or so now, so I'm going to do it on a separate video, so I'll be back in a second and we'll go through Instagram. Okay? Thank you.